feel like when it comes to filmmaking, the tougher of a filmmaker's debut is the second film. The first movie, yeah, I understand. It's really hard to make. It's surprising when it's really good. It's amazing that directors can have a great debut film. What's even harder is to have two really good movies in a row. I can't think of many examples where that happens. And yet Jordan Peele managed to prove everybody that he is one of the best directors out there today. His second film, Us, is just as good as the first one he did, Get Out, and it's pretty much making the same kind of money, if not better. I was a huge fan of Get Out. It was one of my favorite movies of 2017. So yes, I was very excited for Jordan Peele to go out and make something else. When I heard Jordan Peele was going to be doing another horror movie, it disappointed me a bit just because he's such a good director. I really want to see him touch some other genres, but you know, horror definitely has been for him so far. I mean, Get Out was a great horror movie, and Us is an even greater horror movie. I don't want people to take that as I think the movie's better than Get Out. It's not. To me, Get Out was like a revolution, a once-in-a-lifetime movie. It seemed like it was the movie Jordan Peele wanted to make his entire life. You could feel it. Us is a horror movie all the way through. Sure, Get Out's a horror movie, but it also had some different aspects, different things going on in it. Us is like, it's a horror movie, we're here to scare you, it's got a creepy plot, and it's definitely in tone with what a horror movie should be through and through. Lupita Nyong'o plays the main character, and this is definitely some different territory for her. We've only seen her do, 12 Years a Slave. She was in Black Panther and Star Wars, some bigger franchises, but we haven't really seen her get into something like this, more character-driven, something that really messes with the emotions, something that can really show her range. She is really wild in this movie. She plays a mom. She also has some different character traits, though. As you go through the movie, you start to learn more about her and her past, and she ends up delivering an almost terrifying performance. There's scenes where a lot of the time it's just focused on her face, and she needs to own the scene just through facial expressions, and she can do it because she's that good of an actress. It's honestly some of the best stuff I've seen in a horror movie in, well, since Get Out, funnily enough. I guess Jordan Peele is just really good at doing these kinds of emotions. There's of course some other great actors. The kid actors are extraordinary. Not common in any film, to be honest, to have this good of child actors. We have Winston Duke, who is playing the father, and he's funny at times, but he's also, he delivers a really good performance. There's just really good performances here. Something that horror movies sometimes don't need. They don't always need this shining of performances, and yet it's like we're getting extra. It makes me appreciate the movie even more. I also like that the movie kind of reminds me of Poltergeist. I like just seeing a family go through some really wacky stuff. And we haven't really gotten anything like this in the couple... I mean, we've had movies with families that center around horror, but I don't know, there's something about the connections in these movies. In this movie in particular, there was something about the way they would interact with one another, the way the comedy was portrayed. I really bought that this was a family unit, a modern day family, and yeah, it was so entertaining to watch, and I haven't really seen anything like this since, honestly, Poltergeist. Poltergeist being one of my favorite horror movies. I love that. I think a lot of people will judge the movie based on how scary it is. Then there's movies that I still like, even if I don't find them to be particularly scary. I don't think a movie being scary should be the most important asset. For instance, I like It, but I don't really find clowns scary. I like Nightmare on Elm Street. That idea scares me because, hey, the idea of going to bed and being murdered in your sleep, I don't know, that kind of freaks me out, even though that movie takes it one step to a point where it doesn't seem like this would actually happen. Get Out, while there was a lot of allegory in that film, the idea of just being taken to a family you thought you could trust and then brain replacement going on, that freaks me out. It just does. The idea of that freaks me out. With this movie, the main idea doesn't freak me out. I don't want to spoil it. I feel like the trailer and the poster already kind of spoil what it is, and that was another thing. I went into the movie kind of already feeling like I knew what was gonna happen, and even the opening scene kind of leads to a twist that I also saw happening. To the movie's credit, they do the twist differently than I've seen other movies do it before. I think a lot of the scares will rely on personal preference. There are some creepy scenes for sure that just work because they're creepy, but as far as being scary for the premise alone, I don't think it's as effective as something like Get Out is, but it still works, and it still makes for a good movie. Honestly, I'm surprised the movie, it's probably like a 2-hour movie, it felt like it went by in an hour. It was like, wow, it's already done. I'm surprised. Even though a lot of the stuff didn't surprise me, I was still invested. And I think movies like that, for me, often deserve even more credit because it succeeds in entertaining me, even though I already can kind of guess. It's like if you read the synopsis of a movie and yet I can still like the movie. That's the sign of a great movie. I think the movie's biggest downfall is not the movie itself, but the fact that everyone will probably be, comparing it to Get Out. I certainly was. It's a little unfair, but Jordan Peele, he's had 2 movies, they're both horror movies. It's gonna happen. I think Get Out is the better movie, obviously, but that doesn't mean that this movie is any less great. This movie has great moments on its own that aren't even in Get Out. It has different stuff here, and so it makes the movie stick out, at least. I don't think it's fair to compare it to Get Out. If you want to do it for fun, or, if you want to just do it as like a podcast, like we may be doing in the future, that's fine, I think. But please don't be doing the whole thing about, don't let the comparison overshadow the enjoyment of this movie. I kind of was at first. I walked out of the movie thinking it was alright, but that was no Get Out. But, after a few days I was like, I gotta stop comparing it to Get Out because that's my only complaint with the movie is that it wasn't Get Out. That's not fair. So with all that, I will be giving Us 4.5 out of 5 stars. So, what'd you think of Us? Do you think it was better than Get Out, or do you think it was worse? Or do you think, hey, we shouldn't be comparing them, right? They're different movies. Jordan Peele has really been proving himself. I'm looking forward to what he does next. And if he does another horror movie, I'm like, whatever, sign me up. I want to just see this guy create because he's making some great stuff. Now that he's made 2 movies, I guess he could start climbing up there as being one of my favorite directors because he definitely has the proof for it. So, thanks for watching, everyone.